"Maybe that's the plan of him who forces," said Ahren. "Heighten the element of threat to make forming an alliance more difficult." Falk nodded in agreement, while Uldini frowned. "This war is going to be a game of move and counter-move, and the fact that I have no idea of what the Dark God has up his sleeve is making me nervous," said the Archwizard gloomily. "All I know is that he intends to bury the alliance." Ahren looked at the heavily falling snow, unable to see more than 3 paces ahead. "Do you smell anything?" he asked the wolf, who was trotting alongside him, practically invisible in the swirling white snowflakes. "Absolutely nothing," said the wolf mistrustfully. "The wind is too unpredictable." Ahren exchanged a knowing look with Falk and shook his head in silence. The old paladin scratched his beard, tilting his head. "Selsina is sensing nothing either," he said after a couple of heartbeats. "There isn't a human soul within a radius of 100 paces." Ahren took a deep breath and pulled in his warming cloak more. The world seemed to have been transformed into a swirl of eerie twilight and falling snow, and it was as if he were riding across the middle of an island of diffuse light in the nowhere of the wild paths. He closed his eyes to concentrate more on his hearing, slipping instinctively into Cullen's mind so that he could use the wolf's superior auditory organs. The blackness in his own mind caused him to slide, involuntarily, into a memory of his time on the Cutlass Sea, the remoteness on top of the crow's nest, and the monotonous rhythm of the waves. Ahren found himself in a twilight state between reality and a waking dream, when suddenly a succession of images flashed before his inner eye. He was on the Queen of the Waves, surrounded by a heavy fog which was just like the present snowfall, hindering his view. Everything was quiet until a most peculiar hissing began. Ahren's eyes opened wide in horror as he roared, "Uldini, put out the light! Falk, raise your shield! Incoming volley of arrows!" At the same instant he threw himself off his horse, dragging the stunned arch-wizard with him, while Falk uttered a colourful curse and heaved his heavy shield upward in attempt to protect the 3 of them as much as he could. Ahren hit the ground just as the whizzing of arrows was becoming audible to human ears and threw himself on top of the groaning Uldini, protecting him with his steel-armoured body. Ahren sensed Cullen sprinting away in the snow, and then the arrows began hitting all around them.